Hummingbirds are our best friends here at the farm.
Hey, Snowy.
There we have Snowy. Huachuma is a cactus with the active alkaloid of mescaline. And ruda is seen as a spiritual protector. It's also very dangerous plant. My name is Jonah. I'm the permaculture coordinator here at the Mystical Yoga Farm. Over here we have one of our 3 bobinsana trees on the property. For those who don't know, bobinsana is a highly loved plant medicine in the community of people that are dieting with plants, especially down in the jungle, with different medicines such as ayahuasca and yopo, things like that down in the Amazon. And they're often paired together because bobinsana is the more watery, heart-opening medicine, whereas the ayahuasca or the yopo is the more like spirit to earth connection, and then that water kind of acts as the bridge. And it's also keeping us in that bobinsana, as far as my understanding. I haven't personally dieted with it, but as far as my understanding, you're typically taking bobinsana in the days in between ayahuasca, and that's helping keep your body in this kind of open state. And you just little by little establish a deeper connection with the plants of the jungle in general, and it's bringing you closer into harmony with nature. With the spirit of bobinsana is seen as the mermaid, so that's the waters that I was mentioning that it brings. And over here we have one of my other favorite plants. One of my other favorite plants in the whole world. It's called comfrey. I was mentioning it when we were talking about the compost. This plant is a miracle. Every gardener's, permaculturist's, fruit forester's best friend. You can plant it and it grows extremely fast. I cut all these back to nothing less than 2 weeks ago, and they're already this big. And what they do is they're at nitrogen fixation is their main purpose. And for those who don't know what that means, it means that in the soil, in any soil in the whole world, there's 1,000,000 times more nutrients than you could ever need for any plant, but it's not in a plant available form. And nitrogen being one of the most significant ones. And when you have a nitrogen fixing plant such as this, or nettle, or mulberry, or alfalfa, things like that, it's creating these little nodes in the ground, little around the roots. And what they're doing is they're taking the nitrogen that's in the soil and converting it into a plant available form for all the surrounding plants to thrive off of. So what we do with this plant is we like to plant it near things that are producing an abundance of food, or big medicinal bushes, and we can just cut them down and throw them right back on the earth, and it acts as a mulch. It's adding nitrogen. And I also put it in, I'll make a tea out of it and give it to all the fruit trees, all the more important sensitive plants. Yeah, sensitive, not more important. And I also throw, a big pile of leaves in the compost whenever we're abundant enough for me to do so. This is a variety of fennel, a black fennel. It has the most delicious, like licoricey honey. It's like licorice and honey had a baby. If you taste it, it's super sweet, but super strong. Like the sweetness is super strong and the licorice is super strong. So it's just weird because they're in exact opposition with each other.
Wow.
Super tasty in tea.
Mm.
As long as it's a 1 steep tea, because if you continue to let it sit in the water, it gets really bitter. Got a hummingbird up there. Hummingbirds are our best friends here at the farm. We have them on tons of different murals we like. They're one of our main spirit guides, connected to the fire and the practice of the Peruvian medicine wheel that we work with here, which is, you can get a good shot of over here to the right. Peruvian medicine wheel, the serpent, the jaguar, the hummingbird, and the eagle, representing different elements of self that we're moving through. The serpent shedding the skin, the earth; the jaguar, the deep emotional processing, the shadow, the darkness, the water; colibri, the fire, the excitement, the vitality, the the gentle flutter of the wings inside your heart, and then the eagle bringing the perspective and the vision and kind of bringing them all together with the air. So yeah, that's something we incorporated into a lot of, or Jahendo, I should say, and Sunny are incorporating into a lot of their medicine work, especially their retreats. They'll follow this medicine wheel. The SYI yoga teacher trainings that this place was built around follow this medicine wheel in their practices. So all of those 4 animals are deeply rooted spiritually in the practices that we have here. And over here we have one of our primary medicine companions while we're talking about medicine work, our deer huachuma. Huachuma is a cactus with the active alkaloid of mescaline. Spiritually, it's seen as the grandfather. It brings strength and focus. It brings connection to prayer, connection to the heart, to the body, the things that allow us to connect with the external world more. Whereas things such that are more psychedelic, such as ayahuasca or other forms of DMT, such as changa or bufo, are more like astral and more connected to the inner workings of our own inner spiritual web and how we can, you know, heal a bit more from the inside out, whereas Huachuma for me is very community oriented and a bit maybe more from the outside in, a bit more about receiving the love of nature, receiving the love of your neighbor and your friend. And yeah, this is the medicine that Jahendo has been working with the longest. We have quite a few different cactuses growing around the farm, most of which I actually planted years ago. This was the first one over here that got planted right in the fire circle itself, growing right out of it, one of our main altars that we pray with on a regular basis as a community, around our beautiful sacred fire protected by obsidian, and on the inside all the different nahuales of the Mayan astrological calendar carved into the inside, as well as around the outside you can see. And then the same spirit animals I was telling you about prior are also lining the outside as statues. So we have the serpent over there, and then makes its way around until you reach the eagle all the way here on this side. So very intentionally how we've designed this space to be in unison with the ideologies and the practices and the spirits that we call in. Over here we have an herb called rue or ruda, that they call it here in Central America. And ruda is seen as a spiritual protector. We've very intentionally planted it and placed it in different places around the farm, such as here in the Sacred Fire. We have one down by a St. Mary statue pond that we built a few years back that you'll see when we make our way to the bottom. There's one right next to the entrance to the farm. So yeah, it's guarding all of the gateways. You know, when you first come in, it's believed to be cleansing you, and it has such a strong aroma. So it's also keeping away bugs. Super hardy plant, really easy to grow, and just smells incredible. Yeah. And ironically enough, it's also very dangerous plant. It has 2 things that you have to be very mindful of that you should know about, and we try to bring as much awareness to those people that come here to these 2 things. Is one is that it is a very strong abortive. It can be used as nature's plan B. Drink it the morning after you think you might have made a little whoops, or even just around your ovulation cycle if you wanted to be extra careful if you're not using protection. This will help you avoid a pregnancy that is not wanted without going through the more intense Western side of what abortion might look like. And the other one is that if you get a lot of it on your skin, the oils that it secretes, I'm not sure scientifically how it works, but it causes extreme sunburn. Like, it causes your skin to be more susceptible to the sun. We had a sister a couple years back here who was really sick and was given a plant bath by someone who was unaware, unfortunately at the time, with rue, and then she sat in the sun to kind of, just hoping to heal and rest, and got some 3rd-degree burns all over her body, skin peeling for weeks. We had to take her to the hospital. It was scary. But yeah, so this is rue, very powerful in all the ways, good and the scary. And then over here, we have our other main medicine companion growing up this tree all over these roofs over here on the main roof of the office. This is ayahuasca, the ayahuasca vine, which is paired with chacruna to make ayahuasca. You harvest the young shoots here, cut them up, and you mix it with a plant called chacruna, which is, so anything containing DMT on itself will not be active without what's called an MAOI, monoamino oxidide inhibitor. And what that's doing is that's cutting off, so your brain's producing DMT 24 hours a day, which is pretty cool. But there's this thing connected to what the MAOI is moving, this receptor, I don't know the name of it, that's creating this blood-brain barrier. It's not allowing the stuff in your brain to go into your blood. So you're not experiencing the effects of the DMT. And when you mix an MAOI with something containing DMT, it cuts off that barrier and allows the flow of the DMT to come through into the blood. And for example, if you smoke DMT, like synthesized DMT on its own, some people may know it only lasts about 15 minutes, but if you pair it with an MAOI such as chacruna or Syrian rue or chacrunita, it can shut that off and allow the experience to be continuing over multiple hours versus 15 minutes or so. So yeah, nature created all that, and somehow we figured that out in the middle of the jungle hundreds of years ago. So, and the coolest part about this ayahuasca vine is we had a cat pass away about 3 years ago. Her name was Maya, which rhymes with Aya. And this ayahuasca vine, the first one we ever planted at the farm, is planted on top of her grave. Oh. So we call this plant Mayahuasca. Oh. And I dug the hole myself.
Wow.
Almost 4 feet deep.
He's Snowy.
There we have Snowy. Over here we have my most recent success. This is an example of how experience can really enhance productivity. But we're trying to create more efficiency, create a situation where we have access to more really rich soil that's built in a more intentional way.